Libra, August 14th, 2026 may begin with a feeling that something you've been waiting for is finally moving. You may not have all the answers yet, but a conversation, message, invitation, or unexpected piece of information could give you a completely different perspective on where your life is heading. This is not an ordinary day for you. There is a subtle shift happening beneath the surface. You may feel more aware of who deserves your energy, what kind of future you actually want, and which situations you have been maintaining simply because you dislike conflict. And Libra, there is something you need to hear today. Peace is not the same thing as pretending everything is okay. The Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter are in Leo. Venus is moving through Libra itself. Mars is in Cancer. The Moon is in Virgo, while Saturn and Neptune are retrograde in Aries and Pluto is retrograde in Aquarius. Zodiac Astrology Horoscopes.com. Venus in your sign makes your personal magnetism stronger, while the Leo emphasis encourages friendships, networks, future goals, and opportunities that may come through other people. Before we go deeper, if you are a Libra, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Stay until the end, because there is an important message here about your career, finances, love life, friendships, and a decision that may quietly change your direction. Libra, professionally, August 14th can bring movement through people. You may have been thinking that your career depends entirely on your own effort, but this period reminds you of something important. Sometimes the right connection opens the right door. A colleague may mention an opportunity. A friend may recommend you. Someone from your past may contact you with information. A professional connection may introduce you to someone important. Or you may meet a person who sees potential in you before you fully see it in yourself. The Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter in Leo emphasize social networks, collaboration, communication, and long-term aspirations. Zodiac Astrology Horoscopes.com. So don't isolate yourself professionally. Talk to people. Ask questions. Share your ideas. Tell people what you are working toward. You don't need to announce every dream to the world. But the right people need to know what direction you're moving in. Because someone cannot open a door they don't know you are trying to reach. If you're considering a career change, August 14th can bring an interesting realization. Perhaps your current job isn't necessarily bad. Perhaps it simply doesn't represent the person you are becoming. That distinction matters. You don't always need to escape something. Sometimes you need to evolve beyond it. Maybe you need more responsibility, more creativity, more independence, more recognition, or perhaps you want work that feels meaningful instead of simply productive. Listen to that feeling. It may be telling you something important about your next chapter. If you already have a job, someone may begin noticing your diplomatic abilities. You know how to communicate. You know how to calm difficult situations. You can often see two sides of an argument. That makes you valuable in environments where people need cooperation. But don't make the mistake of becoming the person who constantly solves everyone's conflicts while your own needs remain invisible. You are not the office mediator by destiny. Your time has value too. Now let's talk about money. Financially, Libra, August 14th encourages balance. And balance is something you understand better than most. But there is a difference between balance and indecision. You may have two financial options in front of you. Save or spend. Stay or invest. Take the opportunity or wait. Pay for something now or delay it. Don't let the desire to keep every option open prevent you from making the choice that actually benefits you. Venus in Libra can increase the desire for comfort, beauty, and enjoyable experiences. And there is nothing wrong with enjoying your money. But be careful about spending simply because something makes you feel temporarily better. Ask yourself, will I still be happy with this purchase next month? If the answer is yes, fine. If the answer is no, wait. Your financial future deserves more consideration than a temporary mood. There may also be a financial opportunity through your social network. A friend could mention a side project. A professional contact could offer work. Someone may introduce you to a new client. Or you may discover that one of your existing skills could become another source of income. Don't underestimate networking. For Libra, relationships can become bridges between where you are and where you want to be. Now, love becomes one of the strongest themes of the day. Venus moving through Libra naturally highlights attraction, charm, confidence, and relationships. You may feel more noticeable. People may respond to your energy differently. Someone who has been watching from a distance may finally make a move. And if you're single, August 14th could bring an interesting romantic possibility. It may happen through a friend, a social gathering, work, online communication, or a completely ordinary interaction that suddenly feels different. You may be attracted to someone's intelligence and emotional maturity rather than simply their appearance. And that is important, because you are entering a stage where peace may become more attractive than drama. You may no longer want relationships where you are constantly guessing. You may no longer want to wonder where you stand. You may no longer want to chase someone who gives you attention only when it is convenient for them. You want reciprocity. You want effort. You want someone who chooses you without making you compete for the position. And that is a healthy desire. If you're already in a relationship, Venus in Libra can help soften tension and encourage affection. This is a good time for a meaningful conversation with your partner. But don't use your natural diplomacy to avoid saying what you really feel. Libra sometimes says, "It's okay," when what they really mean is, "I don't want to argue about this." Those are not the same thing. Your partner cannot respond to a need you never express. So speak gently, but speak honestly. Tell them what you need. Tell them what you've been thinking. Tell them what you appreciate. And tell them what you want to improve. The goal isn't to create conflict. The goal is to create understanding. Now let's talk about someone from your past. Libra, there may be an old relationship or friendship that still occupies a small corner of your mind. You may not want that person back, but perhaps you still wonder, what if? What if things had happened differently? What if you had said something? What if they had stayed? What if you had chosen another path? August 14th may help you release some of those questions. Not because you suddenly forget the past, but because you begin understanding that your life did not end when that chapter closed. Continued. And maybe it became stronger because of it. Sometimes the person who leaves creates the space for the person you become. Sometimes rejection redirects you. Sometimes disappointment protects you from a future that wasn't right. You don't have to call the past a mistake. You can call it a lesson. That is enough. Now let's talk about your family and home life. Mars in Cancer can make family matters more emotionally charged. People.com. You may feel pressure to make everyone happy. A family member may need something from you. Someone may expect you to take responsibility. Or perhaps there is an unresolved issue at home that you've been avoiding because you don't want another argument. But Libra, avoiding conflict doesn't always create peace. Sometimes it simply postpones the conflict. If something needs to be discussed, choose the right moment. Speak calmly. Don't attack. Don't accuse. But don't disappear either. Your emotional boundaries matter. You can love your family and still say, "I need some space." You can support someone and still protect your energy. You can be generous without becoming responsible for everyone's happiness. That balance is especially important now. Your social circle may also be changing. You may suddenly notice that certain friendships feel different. Someone you once felt close to may no longer understand the person you're becoming. And another person you barely knew may suddenly become important. Don't force old relationships to remain exactly as they were. People evolve. Sometimes friendships grow together. Sometimes they grow apart. That doesn't always mean someone is bad. Sometimes the roads simply stop going in the same direction. What matters is whether the people around you respect your growth. Look for people who celebrate your progress. People who don't compete with you. People who are happy when you succeed. People who can tell you the truth without trying to control you. Those are the connections worth protecting. Now let's talk about your emotional energy. Libra, your biggest challenge may not be external. It may be the amount of mental energy you spend trying to make the perfect decision. You can see both sides. You understand everyone's perspective. You can imagine 10 possible outcomes. And eventually, you become exhausted before you've even chosen. August 14th asks you to simplify. Ask, which choice gives me more peace in the long run? Not, which choice will make everyone happy? Those are completely different questions. You cannot make everyone happy, and trying to do so can slowly make you unhappy. Your life needs your own voice inside it, not just the voices of everyone around you. The Virgo moon encourages attention to details and practical corrections, but its challenging contacts with Saturn and Pluto can also intensify self-criticism and pressure. Zodiac Astrology Horoscopes.com. So don't become obsessed with getting everything right. You don't need to make the perfect decision. You need to make the most honest decision available with the information you have. Then adjust if necessary. That is how life works. Now let's look at August 14th more closely. The morning may be excellent for communication. Send the message. Make the call. Contact someone you've been meaning to reach. Discuss the opportunity. Ask the question. You may discover that a situation becomes much simpler once you actually talk about it. The middle of the day may bring more emotional pressure. Someone may challenge your opinion. Someone may ask you to choose sides. Don't rush. You don't have to respond immediately. You can say, "Let me think about it." That sentence can save you from unnecessary mistakes. The evening carries a softer romantic and social atmosphere. You may want to spend time with someone you trust. You may receive a message from someone interesting. You may have a conversation that stays in your mind long after it ends. Or you may simply enjoy being around people who make you feel like yourself. And Libra, don't underestimate how important that feeling is. The right people don't make you perform. They make you relax. There is also a larger astrological reason why this period can feel significant. The August 12th solar eclipse in Leo has just occurred, bringing a broader period of change around friendships, networks, aspirations, and future direction. m.economictimes.com. So August 14th may feel like part of something larger. You may begin questioning who you want beside you in the future. Not just romantically, professionally, socially, personally. Who do you want to build with? Who inspires you? Who drains you? Who makes you feel smaller? Who reminds you of your potential? Those questions can change your social landscape. And sometimes the answer is surprising. Someone you assumed would always be there may slowly disappear. Someone you never expected may become an important supporter. Let people reveal themselves. Don't force the outcome. Now, Libra, there may also be a new opportunity connected to your public image. You may be asked to represent something, present something, lead a discussion, create content, promote a project, meet new people, or take a more visible role. Don't immediately say no because you're worried about being judged. You are more capable than you think. You don't need to be perfect. You simply need to be prepared. And remember, people are rarely looking for perfection. They are looking for confidence, authenticity, and reliability. You can provide all three. Financially, your ability to build relationships can also help. A person you meet today may not become important immediately, but months from now, that connection could lead somewhere unexpected. This is why you should treat people well, not because you need something from them, but because genuine relationships create opportunities naturally. Don't network like a transaction. Connect like a human being. That difference is powerful. Now, Libra, there is one major warning you should remember. Do not sacrifice your future just to avoid a difficult conversation today. This applies everywhere. Don't stay in a bad job because you don't want to disappoint your employer. Don't remain in a relationship that makes you unhappy because you're afraid of hurting someone. Don't keep lending money because saying no feels uncomfortable. Don't keep pretending everything is fine because you don't want people to think differently about you. Short-term peace can sometimes create long-term pain. Real peace requires honesty. And honesty doesn't always feel comfortable at first. But it creates freedom. That is the kind of freedom you are moving toward. You may also realize that you have been waiting for someone else to make a decision. Waiting for them to call. Waiting for them to commit. Waiting for them to change. Waiting for them to recognize your value. Stop waiting. You don't have to control their decision. You only have to control yours. And perhaps that is the most important message of August 14th. Your life changes when you stop asking, "What are they going to do?" and start asking, "What am I going to choose?" That is the difference between waiting and living. Libra, you have a beautiful ability to create harmony. But don't create harmony by silencing yourself. Create harmony by becoming honest enough to build relationships that can survive the truth. You deserve relationships where you can say what you feel. You deserve work where your contribution is respected. You deserve friendships where your success is celebrated. You deserve financial stability that gives you freedom. And you deserve a life that doesn't require you to constantly compromise your own happiness. August 14th may not deliver every answer, but it can deliver clarity, a conversation, a realization, an opportunity, a new connection, a decision. Something may remind you that your future is larger than the situation you are currently worried about. So don't become trapped inside one problem. Zoom out. Look at the larger picture. One difficult day does not define your life. One rejection does not define your value. One failed relationship does not define your ability to love. One financial setback does not define your future. One mistake does not erase everything you've built. You are still moving. And that movement matters. As this day unfolds, choose balance, but don't confuse balance with hesitation. Choose kindness, but don't confuse kindness with self-sacrifice. Choose love, but don't confuse love with losing yourself. Choose opportunity, but don't abandon common sense. Choose peace, but don't create it through silence. And choose yourself without guilt. Because Libra, there is a new version of you emerging. A version that is still diplomatic, still loving, still thoughtful, but much more decisive, much more selective, much more aware of what your energy is worth. You don't have to become colder. You simply need stronger boundaries around your warmth. And when you do that, something beautiful happens. The right people come closer. The wrong people lose access. The right opportunities become easier to recognize. The wrong ones stop looking attractive. And your life begins to feel less like a constant negotiation and more like a deliberate choice. So walk into August 14th with your eyes open. Listen carefully. Watch people's actions. Take opportunities seriously. Protect your money. Speak honestly. Let love develop naturally. And don't be afraid if your priorities are changing. Sometimes changing priorities are proof that you are changing too. Libra, perhaps the greatest message of this day is simple. You do not have to keep choosing what keeps everyone else comfortable. You are allowed to choose what creates a healthier future for you. And one honest choice today could eventually become the beginning of a completely different chapter. The scales are moving. But this time, they are not asking you to choose between yourself and everyone else. They are asking you to finally place your own life back on the scale.